I'm seeing a lot of leaders who are getting tired of
Oh,
all the
yeah.
pivoting and all the adjusting, and actually, like we're seeing articles coming up of people wanting to actually leave ministry. Like the burden is great on their shoulders. So maybe speak from your own personal experience how you've had to pivot in the season, but how would you encourage leaders right now who are feeling the pressure?
Listen, Fred, I talk to so many leaders, church leaders, and they are tired. And they've been pivoting so much. Everybody hates that word now, pivot, pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're tired, and I don't blame them. Many of them got into this job for a very different reason than COVID's presented right now. And
Mm-hmm.
they were taught a model of pastoral work that doesn't exist currently. And so it's really difficult. I also think that we have an opportunity right now to go back and say, when in our history has the church ever felt like this? And the closest we can come is to first century Christianity. So I've recommended Rodney Stark's books to so many people and said, hey, listen, start to read about first century church. And and I think we in Canada, but the US is a very different beast right now, but I'd say the Western world, except for the US, start thinking pre-Christian, not post-Christian. That's where I'd
Mm-hmm.
say. So I'd say to pastors, like, if you're exhausted, spend some time reading about pre-Christianity. What did the church look like then? So that you start to think about different models. I think so often we as Christian leaders look to the US. I don't think this is the most helpful time to look to Christian leaders in the US. Their scenario is so different, even though they're in the pandemic as well. So think about who are you listening to? And I've spoken about this quite a bit this fall. So it's not only who are you reading, who are you listening to, but are you spending enough time in the presence of God? Are pastors taking Sabbath rest? I could not survive the leadership journey since March 13th if I didn't have a rhythm of Sabbath. I mean, God really gave it to us as a gift to rest us to start the week. And so I feel for pastors. I feel for pastors who are weary from the pivoting. I feel sorry for church leaders who are just saying, I don't have any more in me. And I think if you haven't got the Sabbath rest, take it. And if you need it, you just have to say to your church, I need some time off. And then just, I don't know if this word will resonate in your community, but soak in God. Like just ask the Holy Spirit to fill you up, to, give your weary bones some rest, to encourage you when you felt discouraged or shot upon by your own parishioners, or when you've compared yourself to another church leader and said, well, I'm not doing as well as they're doing. Look at their numbers. Numbers are just numbers. They don't speak to faithfulness.
Mm-hmm.
They don't speak to what's happening in your community. Um, yeah, we should measure things. Please don't hear me say get rid of measurements, but don't compare. Be who God's called you to be and rest in Him. Find the rhythms of rest and then make sure you get some time off. Christmas is actually, in some ways, a COVID opportunity, which sounds a bit simplistic, but we are all used to December being full on. So
Mm-hmm.
many Christmas parties, so many Christmas events, all the Christmas shopping, oh, the Christmas services, volunteering at church. And not to say the church doesn't need help in the season, but I think we have far fewer events. And I just want to encourage every church leader, when you're thinking about who you're listening to, make sure you know it's God first and that you're giving Him an opportunity to rest you, because we're all desperate for rest, and that rest is from Him, not just in a holiday, but rest is in Jesus. So when Jesus says, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest,
Mm-hmm.
know that that's a gift He offers, but we have to come to Him for it. So I have such empathy for church leaders right now. And I just want to do everything I can to put hope in front of them and to encourage them to take the time they need to recover.